Good morning, Dubai. Happy Sunday. How are you doing? Welcome back to the Lovin Daily, where we take you through the top trending stories that everyone in Dubai is talking about. Are you refreshed after your weekend, or do you wish you were still in bed? Let me know where you're watching from. How are you doing on this new start of the week? I hope you're excited. We're going to be talking about the latest COVID-19 updates in the UAE. A couple of fines were issued over the weekend. Someone hosted a boat party with over 25 people. What were you thinking? We'll also talk about the fact that the return to UFC Fight Island is back. We'll also be talking about a couple of top stories, some new travel updates. Also, the iconic Museum of the Future on Sheikh Zayed Road is looking spectacular. And His Highness Sheikh Muhammad bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, he visited yesterday, and we're excited to see what's to come with that. But before I bring you into the top stories, please note that today's show is brought to you by UFC Fight Island, an event that's setting a global benchmark for international sporting events. Now, the return to UFC Fight Island is taking place on Yas Island right now, with events happening until October 24th. Now, while UFC Fight Island is the sponsor of this show, the opinions and statements are Lovin Dubai's. So we'll bring you into our top story, which is the fact that UAE citizens don't need COVID tests before they travel. So over the weekend, Dubai's Supreme Committee of Crisis and Disaster Management, they announced new travel updates, basically amendments to travel protocols, and UAE citizens will no longer need a PCR test prior to departure for Dubai, regardless of the destination they're coming from or time spent in that destination. They will, however, be required to undergo a PCR test upon arrival in Dubai. Now, as well as that, it's worth noting that for residents and tourists, a PCR test remains mandatory prior to departure for Dubai, while a further update stated a PCR test while exiting Dubai is mandatory only for passengers traveling to a destination that requires a pre-travel negative test certificate. So just very quickly to kind of go over that, what that means. Citizens, UAE citizens, so Emiratis flying into the country, they don't need a pre-PCR test before leaving. Residents and tourists still do. However, if we're leaving the country, you only need to provide that negative test depending on the country that you're going to, if they require it. I think a lot of countries still do, of course, but it's worth checking where you're traveling to when they require it. We'll move into further stories, the latest COVID-19 updates in the UAE. So in the last 24 hours, the Ministry of Health conducted 117,812 tests as part of its plans to expand the scope of tests. Now, 1,231 cases were announced, taking the total number of cases to 97,960. 1,051 new recoveries take the total number of recoveries to 83,274. So we always kind of bring you the latest numbers, which you can see if you're watching on Facebook beneath us. Also, over the weekend, Dubai Economy has been doing the rounds and checks on local businesses. They're doing this every day, and I think that kind of can bring you peace of mind if you are kind of venturing out, going to coffee shops, going to the supermarkets. Do know that there are checks happening across the city by authorities to make sure that they are different venues, locations, whatever it may be, shops, supermarkets, banks, whatever, that they are compliant with precautionary measures. So on Friday, the DED reported 713 businesses were compliant, 13 were fined, and 1 was warned, while a yacht party, by the way, this came from Dubai Police, a yacht party was shut down after 25 guests were found to be partying, not applying social distance measures and not wearing masks. Dubai Police shut it down, and the pilot who organised it, he's been fined 10k. So that's kind of interesting to me, because I think that you can see with, I think, over 700 businesses were compliant on Friday, and yet there was a yacht party by one person who invited 25 friends to the yacht party. That was shut down, and like I said, he was fined 10k. So I think it's a reminder that everyone, not just businesses, all us individuals have to remember there are fines in place. If we have social gatherings, we are going to be fined. Obviously, the person who held the party, he was fined 10k, and then usually the fine that goes with that is people attending are also fined 5k. What are you doing hosting a yacht party at this time?
I don't know. We're in a pandemic, people. We should take care of ourselves,
So we have to change up what we're doing.
Exactly.
Exactly. If you're doing something, go out to the wilderness. Like I was saying, this weekend I was camping away from everyone. It was the dream. Just get a car.
Like, there are so many other activities that you can do in a smaller group that you can also have fun in and
This
stay
is
safe.
100%. Maybe this is what we should talk about, like what you can do in a smaller group that's still nice. Go for a walk to Kite Beach, go down to JBR, it's beautiful. Walk over the bridge to Blue Waters.
Exactly.
Were you up to anything this weekend?
Me? I stayed at home. I didn't go out.
This is it. I think a lot of people are still very cautious, but I think there's such a difference, right? Because there's the people who are being cautious, staying at home, adhering to social distancing measures. avoiding social gatherings, and then you have someone who's hosting a party with 25 people.
The complete polar opposites.
And that's kind of every single kind of reminder we get from the government is they can only do so much. They can check every single establishment in the UAE. But if, for example, as an individual, I'm not washing my hands and I'm walking around, I'm going to parties, and that's the spreader. That's the super spreader right there.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll move into our next story. Actually, before we move into our next story, if you're doing something, if you're avoiding social gatherings, let us know what you are doing. The weather is cooling down, so I'd love to know what's keeping you occupied this weekend and every weekend, because obviously we're living in our new normal. I hate that phrase, but it's a little bit different. Our lives have changed. We're not doing what we usually would do with bigger gatherings, so let me know what you're up to. Before we move on, I'm going to talk to you about His Highness Sheikh Muhammad, who visited the stunning Museum of the Future yesterday. I don't know if you saw them splashed everywhere. We saw iconic pictures of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, visiting the Museum of the Future, where he witnessed the placement of the last panel of the Future's facade, which symbolizes the start of the final phase of construction. So guys, have you seen it on Sheikh's side? Have you seen it lit up?
It's beautiful, to be honest. Like it's amazing. Like I'm astounded. Every new thing that pops up in Dubai, architecture-wise, is just mind-boggling.
This is it, and they're saying it's another iconic architecture that's happening in downtown, which it is. Like, it's stunning. And also, I saw photos of it lit up, and I just think buildings are so much more beautiful by night. And it reminded me that Dubai Eye, have you seen it lit up? I haven't seen that many photos of it, but at night I passed it, and some of the pods, which look a lot bigger now that you can see more of them, when they're lit up, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited for what's to come in terms of visiting these, hopefully, in the near future.
Hopefully we get to ride in that soon.
We get to ride it. I know. And like, it's happening so quickly. I wish we could do nearly a marker, but from the office here in JLT, you could see Ain Dubai, you can see Blue Waters. No, you can see Ain Dubai. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 10, 12 from the top, but we can only see like the top part. So there's probably maybe
they're getting there.
Another couple. I think it's 24, 27 in total. So they're getting there quite quickly after nothing for so long. And now you can.
I can see how the Instagram feeds once it's fully open and running. The Instagram feeds of pictures and stories, I can see it now. Like,
yeah, same. I also always think it's interesting. So, pre-pods on the Ain Dubai, when you took a photo, that's so when when a photographer takes a beautiful photo of a certain area, and they can never use those photos again because it's so clearly that they're old. It's so clear that they're old. Mm-hmm. So now all of those photos, but that kind of happens in Dubai all the time. Like, you might take a photo of a certain area, and then 2 years later, it's so clear that it's an old photo. Even if it's beautiful, you can't reshare it.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll move on to our final story. The return of the UFC Fight Island has begun. So putting on a major sporting event in the midst of a pandemic is no easy feat, but UFC Fight Island in Abu Dhabi did it first, and the world was watching, and now it is back, which is so exciting. The return of UFC Fight Island is proof that mega sporting events can be held with the highest health and safety measures. So this is pretty much setting a benchmark for international sporting events worldwide. The return to UFC Fight Island Safe Zone bubble concept was proof that international sporting events can go ahead, while also earmarking Abu Dhabi as a safe, tolerant, and accessible destination for tourists worldwide. So hats off to them for that. As you probably know, all the fighters have landed, and to move freely within the UFC Fight Island Safe Zone bubble concept, all fighters, admin teams, every single person in that safe zone must undergo a period of quarantine, which is so cool to hear how it's rolling out. We've actually saw Khabib is in town. His fight's not happening until October 24th. It's very exciting. Spotted in Dubai praying over the weekend. But we have the fight nights, which are still to come. October 10th, UFC Fight Night, Moraes versus Sanhagen. October 17th, Fight Night, Ortega versus the Korean Zombie. Finally, big scorecard, October 24th, Khabib versus Gaethje. Gaethje.
I'm excited.
Gotcha. You're excited?
Yeah. I'm in love with UFC.
Have you been watching them all so far?
Yep. Khabib, my number one guy. So
he's an icon in the Middle East. I feel like there's a connection there, that there's fans have a massive love for Khabib here, especially in the UAE. And you also kind of, every time he comes, he doesn't just come. Whatever, he's been here a couple of times over the last couple of years. He'll come and he will kind of hang out with people, and like you'll see him at, like, I remember seeing him at a polo sporting event like 2 years ago. He was praying in Dubai this weekend, but that's kind of cool because I think he's kind of like getting to know the culture, getting to know the people here, and now he's back on October 24th. Of course, he'll be entering that UFC safe bubble zone, quarantining, and then having that fight on October 24th, which is the final part of UFC Fight Island, which is very exciting. All of that is happening on Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. Guys, those are top stories for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're back every single weekday morning. Let us know your thoughts about the stories in the comments below. We love to read them after the show, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Bye. Guys, that is a wrap for the Lovin Daily. We are back same time, same place every weekday morning. And of course, don't miss the Lovin Show every Tuesday where I chat with Dubai personalities. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and have a great day.